Shalom, shalom. All praise the Yahweh Hashem, Mashiach Yahweh Shai, one Yeshua Allah. Hallelujah. And this is the Most High's High Holy Day, the Shabbat. And as always on the Most High's High Holy Day, the Shabbat, we praise the Most High, honor the Most High, and love the Most High for giving the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, his commandments. And to all the brothers and sisters and the 12 tribes scattered abroad and Israelite camps and schools, shalom, shalom, Shabbat, shalom. So we just want to go over temptation, because we're going to be in these last days, even before the Jacob's trouble, before the 7-year tribulation period, we're going to be tempted on a high level. So we got to know what, how to, when you are tempted, how to react and what to do. Because it's going to happen. I mean, some of us are tempted now, right? We go through our temptations. But the key is the temptations are going to be multiplied on a higher level during the tribulation period, during Jacob's trouble. It's going to be multiplied, right? So it's going to come on that level. Some of the temptations that we go through now, you're able to overcome. Some of us fall into it, and then we got to go to the Most High and Yahweh Shai, repent and start all over again, right? But the Most High did say there's no temptation that you go into that there's not a way out of it. Okay? There is a way out of it. But we're just going to show you, according to the scriptures, what the Most High teaches us. So let's start with the word temptation. Temptation, right, means, in essence, to persuade or induce or entice. The desire to do something bad, wrong, or unwise. Temptation denotes a trial in which man has a free choice, how about that, of being faithful or unfaithful to the Most High. So we do know as Hebrew Israelites, when the Most High chose Israel to be his people, he gave us freedom of choice. Come? That's what he gave. He gave us freedom of choice. He said, Israel, choose you this day whether you're going to choose life or death. Come? He said, choose you this day whether you're going to choose life or death. Right? So we do have the ability to choose. So this is why the Most High gives us the commandments. And in the process of giving us the commandments, he gives us also the penalty when you break the commandments on top of that. Right? Come? Mm-hmm. So by giving you the penalty and give you the knowledge of what the commandment is, now you have knowledge, right? So that's, let's say, remember the Most High told Adam, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, don't touch that tree, okay? Do not touch that. The tree of knowledge of good, do not take from that tree, okay? The tree of life, yes, but the tree of knowledge and good, don't touch that tree, okay? Because that tree, when you touch that tree, that opens you up to what? Sin. That says the knowledge of good and evil. The knowledge of good and evil opens you up to what? Sin. It opens you up. Adam was made righteous. He didn't know what sin was. Think about that, right? He didn't know what sin was. Understand? Until he was tempted of what? The devil. Right, Con? Right? So when you go to Genesis, where is that in Genesis, right? Where the Most High just told him, don't eat up that tree. Okay, Genesis 3, you can say 3 and 1. You want to start there? Genesis 3 and 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field,
now, okay, go ahead.
Which Yahweh thy power had made.
Now, it said who? The serpent. The serpent is who? The devil, Satan. How do we know? When you go to Revelation, it tells you, it gives the spiritual Satan 4 categories of names. That old serpent, right? Which is the devil, Satan. Understand? It gives you a series of categories of names. So we know the serpent talking about that spiritual Satan. Con? But he's in the garden. We're showing you Satan can come down as what? In a fleshly body, come. Now it used a serpent, and he can come down in snakes and all that, right? But a serpent isn't Satan, come. A regular serpent is not Satan, come. A snake is just a snake, right? So this is talking about Satan, that old cunning, evil devil, Satan, coming down in the fleshly form, having what? A serpent-like mind. So it's not talking about a snake. I know the Christians think it's a snake. It's not talking about a snake, right? It's not talking about a snake. So it's talking about Satan in the fleshly form, because we know he can come down in the flesh, right? And with a serpent-like demonic mind, right? Cunning mind, right? So that's why the Most High said, beware, Adam, because Satan is in the field as a serpent. So now you always bring it to date. Always bring it to date. So what do we have now? You have the world, and who's out there? Satan. And where is he? And those people out there. And he's in some of us too. Right? He's in some brothers and sisters that say they're Israelites too, right? Let's face it, right, Con? So that's why when Yahweh the Most High said, be careful, because he's out there in the world and he's a serpent-like demon. Right? That's why other parts of Scripture says, be careful, because Satan's like a devouring lion, seeking whom he may destroy. Come? He's out there.
So he's taking all those characters.
Right, he's taking all those characters. Even like a lion. What does a lion do? When a lion preys on you, what does he do? He devours you. Right? So, but a lion is not Satan, right? A lion is just a lion. Yeah. But Satan had that quality too, where he devours you like a lion. That's what it's saying. Okay? Okay, go ahead, up.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh thy power had made. And he said unto the woman, ye have the power, said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh hath said, ye shall not eat of it.
See there? So we shall not eat of that tree that's in the midst of the garden. Come? So showing you here that the woman, this is Eve now, right? The woman knew what? She knew the law. She understood the law, because she's telling the serpent, understand, what the law is. Now, and the serpent, of course, is in the form of somebody that she can accept. Come? It wasn't a snake. It's in the form of somebody she could talk to and can accept. So it had to be another individual. Come.
Snakes don't talk.
Yeah, snakes don't talk, right. So it had to be another individual that she could that's acceptable to her vision, right? Because if it was a snake, so she would be running somewhere, right? Right? So it wasn't a snake. So, but she's telling this serpent-like individual the law of what the Most High said. So she knew the law. And of course, Adam taught it to her. She's telling the serpent because this is what Adam taught her, and of course Adam got it from the Most High. Come? That you should not eat of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden. And the fruit is what?
Yes.
It's the knowledge. Understand? It's the knowledge of the Most High. Come? It's not an apple. Why? Because you read about how the Most High told Ezekiel, eat this roll, and it'll be pleasant to your belly. Eat it. When he talking about Ezekiel, eat some food here. You know, he wasn't talking about. He's talking about absorb the knowledge, right? Absorb the understanding of the knowledge. That's what he's telling Ezekiel. So that's what the Most High was saying by fruit. It's not an apple. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no fruit of a tree. And the tree is what? Yeah. The tree represents the nations. Okay? The tree represent nature. Wasn't talking about a regular tree. You can go talk to a tree now. Is it going to give you any knowledge? It's going to talk to you back? No. Right? So it wasn't a tree. It was the nations. How do we know? Because Ezekiel 31 tells you the trees that Adam tried to hide himself amongst the trees. And the trees envied Adam. Can a tree envy you? No. So how can a tree envy? So it had to be a person, an individual. So that means, was Adam and Eve the first man and woman on the earth? No. There were other people there. Don't you know Adam had a mother, had a father, had a grandmother, had a grandfather, had aunts, uncles, cousins? He had all that. So why is he considered the first man on earth? Because he was the first one made in the image of the Most High, meaning out of righteousness. Everybody else was what? Like you see out here, crazy. Like a bunch of creatures that's sinning. Don't do. If you're a sinner, the Most High does not consider you in His image. If you're somebody doing wickedness, the Most High don't consider you in His image. So that's why He just took Adam. Adam was born righteous and made Adam, but everybody else, the Most High said, well, I don't even consider them because they're a bunch of creatures, right? That's why another part of Scripture says the creature waited for the manifestations of the sons of men. Why did the Most High call the nations creatures? Because they're not His people. Remember another part of Scripture says that nations are nothing to the Most High, like a spit in a bucket. He calls them nothing and a bunch of creatures, but He calls Israel His chosen people. The difference. So that's why what you read now, the trees, you know what I'm saying? So Most High said, Adam, don't eat of that tree. Don't take of the knowledge of those people over there. Understand? Read that. You got it?
Yeah. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 31, verse 5. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he shot forth.
Yeah, because of the wisdom and knowledge the Most High gave Adam. You know what Adam had? Adam had the straight knowledge and wisdom from the Most High, directly from the Most High. He named the animals. Adam named plants and trees, different food groups. Understand? Adam had all that knowledge. He had knowledge of the herbs. The nations didn't have this. That's why when it said Adam tried to hide after he sinned, he couldn't hide amongst the people. Why? His wisdom was too great. His aura was too great. And you know, maybe y'all know, y'all can all know, y'all know that when you try to mingle amongst common folk out there, because of the knowledge you have, you stand out, don't you? You stand out. For some reason, you just can't hide. I try to do that. Hey, man, what is it about you? What are you talking about? It's a regular brother. No, it's something about you, right? Understand? I had that happen to me a few times, right? So you just stand out. He couldn't hide. So go ahead, up.
Verse 6. All the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young.
How about that? The beasts brought forth their young, meaning the nations, right, brought forth their children to learn from Adam. Adam was like a king. And, it doesn't say King Adam, but he was like a king. A prophet, a king, right, a teacher. He understood the ways of the Most High. And he lived to be 930 years of age. So let's think of what he knew, right? And the Most High gave him all that wisdom. Okay, so this is why the nations are coming to him for knowledge and wisdom and everything. Go ahead, up.
And under his shadow dwelt all great nations.
See? Now it's saying what?
Under his shadow dwelt all great nations.
So there were nations back then, right? The people were back then. Done?
Yeah.
So he wasn't the first. It wasn't the first man and woman on the earth. He was just the first one created in the image of the Most High. Done? Okay, go ahead, up.
Thus was he fair in his greatness.
Meaning fair. He was great, handsome, right? Beautiful, tall in stature, magnificent, right? Right? Understand? Magnificent. They try to pattern the Greek gods. They try to pattern the Greek gods after who? Adam, Enoch. You know what I'm saying? Seth, Methuselah, Shem, and bring them up to date. They try to pattern their Greek god after Samson, right? After us, because we're the real supermen of the earth, right? We're the real strong ones of the earth and wise and intelligent ones of the earth. Go ahead, Up.
Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of Yahweh could not hide him.
Yeah, they couldn't hide him. So a cedar is a gigantic tree, right? And a cedar is massive. A cedar tree, you'll see a cedar tree, is massive.
And he was standing over top of it. Because he was a giant, right?
It was a giant.
Yeah, he was a giant.
But an actual cedar tree, I don't know if he stood on top of that. But Mosai was saying that, of course, he was tall amongst the other people.
Yeah.
Okay, taller than amongst the other people. But as far as the cedar tree, I mean, cedar trees, they stand
Like 60 feet tall.
yeah, 60, 80 feet tall. You know, but still, and then of course we were taller back then.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, we were, 15, 16, 17, almost 20 feet tall. Yeah, that's tall out, right? Think about that, right? So, but they couldn't hide him because he was just too different, too on a higher level to be hid. Going up.
The cedars in the garden of Yahweh could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of Yahweh was like unto him in his beauty. I had made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of Yahweh envied him.
They did what?
Envied him.
When all of a sudden a tree has a personality? No.
People.
You gotta get the understanding, right? Break it down. It's talking about people. They envy him.
Salakia. And that's how you know that we the bloodline direct descendants of Adam too, because the nations envy us.
Right.
Everything
How about
we do,
that?
they copy it.
Always bring up to date, right?
Yeah.
It's the same difference. The field is what? Out there in the world today. That's the field. The trees who? Are who? The other nations. Right? And your beauty cannot be hid, right? Because you stand out. That's why you run faster. You know what I'm saying? You jump higher. As far as science, you outdo them in science. Education. You're dominant in everything, so you can't be hid. I'm saying when you try to hide yourself amongst other nations, it doesn't work for us. You know what I'm saying? And then we look foolish, right? Trying to go into their philosophies and religions and their idol god. It doesn't work for us. You know what I'm saying?
Salakia. The brother Kalat Rakal said one of the teacher's jobs was to dumb down the other students because the children of the other nations wasn't making it on the right educational level as us. Right.
And this is why they want to dumb our people down. This is why we don't get the same math. We don't get the same, reading material or things, the same curriculum as, of course, Esau and other nations, because they want to keep you down. But it doesn't work, does it?
Nah.
Jake, because we can't be hid. Remember, it said his bows, his branches were not like the other nations. It was like better. So on a high scale. So we cannot be hid. So that's why it's time for us to come together and bring this thing together as a nation, so that the Most High can really now begin to bless us and begin to build us up, and so we're gonna rule this earth next.
Good.
But sometimes we're holding ourselves back because we're running from the Most High, trying to hide, like trying to run into the other nations. It can't be done. So go back up, and then I think that was it on there. That's when Paul says envy. So we get the understanding now that it's talking about people, right? That was in the garden. Okay? The field is the world. The serpent is Satan. In the flesh, as an individual, come. Okay? The trees are the other nation, other people out there, okay, in the world. And the fruit is the philosophies and the, the philosophies from those trees, right?
Good.
But then there was one fruit, the Most High said, you can eat of that tree, the fruit of that tree, the tree of life, right? But the fruit of that tree, You can't eat of that. And the Most High distinguished from both of them. There was one, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and one was the tree of life. Come? Okay, go ahead, up.
Verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die.
Oh, here go the serpent, right? What did he say?
Ye shall not surely die.
So what do they say to us, our people today? All right, go ahead.
Take the solution.
Take the solution.
Ye shall not die.
You shall not die. And look at Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Damn near dead.
Look at Marvin Haggard.
Marvin Haggard.
Nick Charles.
DMX. All
Coolio, DMX.
Right. You can go on and on, right?
Yeah, Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
And they was boasting when they was taking it.
They were boasting, right? Remember that? Yeah. But you shall not surely die. That's a serpent. Okay? Go ahead, up.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for Yahweh doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
All right, see that? So that's what they teach us today, right? They teach us, because showing you that in Esau's world, the wicked world, the evil society, they know good and they know evil. Understand? But the Most High presented Adam just the tree of life. Not even good and evil, the tree of life. There's a difference, right? And so that's what the Yahushua is given to us now. That's why he's calling us back so that we can gain the tree of life. Understand?
Okay.
We can gain, that's what we're in the process. That's why when you come into the truth, that is what you are aspiring to gain the tree of life.
Okay.
Not so much the tree of good and evil, no. The tree of life is what you want. And we're not going to get that until we get back in Israel, right? Till we get back in Israel, and when the Most High cast out and purge out the rebels are not getting it. Our people, the rebels of our people are not getting the tree of life. Come? They're not getting it.
They're all Al Sharptons and
one of our people that sold out, no, they're not getting it. Come? So there's going to be a lot of our people that's not going to get it out. Right? All right. So, go ahead, Ak. 5th verse.
Verse 5. For Yahweh doth know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
So now, here the serpent cunningly is now going to beguile her. Come? He's beguiling her. He's using a serpent-like, fox-like characteristic, beguiling her. Now, you think this took one day? What you're reading here, a couple of hours? No. This might have been going on for weeks. Come?
Come.
Like, when a man see a woman, what does he do, right?
Try to game her.
He's trying to game her, trying to talk to her. I mean, but he sincerely wants her, but he has to, now flatter her and everything. That's what the serpent was doing. Come. He was flattering her. Come. And she fell for it. Right? She fell for it. And when he said, the Most High knows that if you go to this tree, that your eyes are going to be open. And when your eyes are open, you're going to be smart, you're going to be intelligent. Right? Now, just think about when you come to a woman you want, what do you say? Sister, you're an intelligent sister. You're intelligent, you're wise, and you're beautiful. Flattery, right? Flattery gets you everything. Next thing you know, but that first day, she hears you, come back the next day. You're doing the same thing. She hears you, come back the next day. Next thing you know, now you want to go out for what they call a date and all that, right? And you're going to flatter her some more, spend some money, buy some flowers, and so on and so forth. So you flatter, you beguile her, come. And sooner or later, she fell for it. And like the rest is history, man, right? And she took up. So go ahead, up.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
Wow, so she's seen it was desirable. She's seen the tree, and the fruit of the tree is desirable. So when you go out here, and let's say you go into college or whatever, and they give you a certain curriculum, well, it doesn't seem bad, right? Esau's curriculums, right, and the philosophies. Go to any one of these churches you go in there, it don't seem that bad, right? It's desirable, right? And they got things in churches that can help people, food. They got, you know what I'm saying? All kinds of things desirable, right? So when our people see that it's desirable and it's not going to harm them, right? So they go in and they take of the fruit and they eat it. Next thing you know, they're bona fide Buddha. Buddhist or something.
Oh, man.
Bona fide Muslim or something, right? Mm-hmm. Go to one of these Muslim temples. They're going to receive you, sit you down, help you, maybe feed you, right? Pleasant. It was pleasant, desirable. Right, Con? Right? So it's pleasant to the eyes. So Esau shaved, clean-shaven, blue-eyed white man, come to one of these black women out here and start talking to her, right? Hey, hey, you got a nice voice. You want to be a singer? I'm the vice president of Sony Records. I can get you a deal, right? And then understand? And then there you go. It's desirable. There's no harm. But there's one thing you got to do. It says you got to go on a date with me, right? And then there you go, right?
I don't even think they make it to the date.
Yeah, they don't even make it to the date, right? Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But she see that, well, there's no problem with that. It's desirable. There's not no harm with this. And then she falls right into it.
Or they'd be like, let's give you an education and put your brother so you look down on
You look down, right. Right. And they do the same thing with black man, too. This doesn't make a difference, right? Same thing, right? So it said, she gave also to her husband. Wait a minute, she convinced Adam to take of this fruit? Adam knew better. But that was his wife. Now you think this happened in just one day? You think Adam just fell for it? Okay, just one day, a couple hours? No. She had to convince him. Probably took weeks, maybe months, right? She was nagging him. And then you can think about what happened with Samson, right? You think Samson didn't fall for it the first time, right? He didn't fall for it the second time, right? She just kept nagging him and nagging him. And you can believe Eve was beautiful. Remember, there was none like us, right, back then, right? She was beautiful, right? So that was, and the Most High gave her specifically to Adam. Yeah, I'm going to give you this woman here. Yeah, I'm going to call her woman. She's going to be a helpmeet to you.
And they was built not to die, so she didn't have no impurities.
Nothing, beautiful. Right? And Adam, and that was his helpmeet. That was his wife. A man's glory is his woman, his wife, right, Con? So eventually Adam broke down. And he probably said, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Let me just see what it's about. She keeps nagging me about this thing. Woman, shut up. Okay, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to check it out. Please, just leave me alone, right? Think about it, right? He goes and does it. When the Most High told him, Adam, nope, don't do it. I told you what to do. See, the Most High required obedience. Under what? Extreme temptation. Under extreme duress. Which we're going to show you. He requires that obedience. That's why he puts you through what? Little trials and tribulations and temptations. Just to see what you're going to do. Let me see what Yakinan's going to do. I have a problem in his household. Let me see what's going to happen. I have a problem in his household. Let me see what he's going to do. Most I don't have to do that. I just want to see. He's been in the truth long enough. Let me see where he's at now. Right? Job. Okay, Job. Yeah. Richest man back then during his time. One of the richest men back then. Right? Had everything. His wife, his children. Children was evil. His children were wicked as hell. Okay. Come here, Satan. Come up here. Okay. And Satan made a deal with the Most High. Okay. But the Most High said, "You see my servant? Okay. Most obedient, wise man." And Satan said, "Okay. If you put tribulation upon him, I bet he'd curse you to your face." And Moses said, "Okay, deal." Only thing you can't do, you can't kill him.
Con.
The only thing you can't do, Satan, you do everything else. Satan killed his children, his cattle, put boils on them, diseases, everything. Wife went up against him. His wife said, "Oh, you ain't no good. Curse the Most High and die. Go ahead. Go curse the Most High." She turned into the devil. I've seen stuff like that happen. You sleep with the enemy. Yeah, you turn into the devil out. So Most High just want to see what you're going to do in the times of temptation. The Most High has to prove you to see if you're qualified, right? We're going to rule the earth, Marcus. Most High going to give it to our hands. He can't somebody rule the earth that all of a sudden he fall back into evil, right? Think about it, right? Okay. So go ahead, up. 6th verse? Or 7th verse?
Verse 7.
Yeah.
And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves upon Salakia. They served fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
So what does that mean? The eyes were what?
Open.
What did they know when the eyes were open? Good and evil. They only knew life, right? That's all they knew. Tree of life. They only knew righteousness. They didn't know good and evil. So all of a sudden, wow. And if you know anything about during that time, you had back then these demons coming out of the heavens, getting into the flesh, sleeping with the woman, right? And teaching the people different things, how to make war, how to build weapons, right? Witchcraft, right? Idol worship. These demons will come out of the heavens, get into the flesh, and teaching the people that. When the Most High didn't teach Adam that. He only taught Adam righteousness. Come? Now their eyes are open. That's a grave sin. Adam should have never took on that. Okay, let's say it now. Philosophy. I'm not even going to say tree of not a good name. It's the philosophies of the nations, right? Demons, witchcraft, like you said. That's what he was taught. And he absorbed it. Now his eyes are open. Same thing out here. What do you have out here? The same thing. Your eyes are open. What do people know? They know about idol worship. They know about philosophies, religions, politics, everything of the world.
Doing drugs,
everything. Right? It's all witchcraft.
Yeah, so it's called by witchcraft, and then you hope that witchcraft will fix their problems.
Right. And witchcraft does fix some of their problems. But it's witchcraft. It's negative. You know what I'm saying? So I got cancer, breast cancer, so I gotta get chemo and all that. That's wicked. You know what I'm saying? And it healed them. Let's say it did heal them, but it's on the left-hand side. It's witchcraft. Okay? Next thing you know that one of their breasts are getting cut off or whatever. That's witchcraft. Understand? The Most High give us the understanding on how to deal with, diseases and the herbs and everything to heal you, but we don't want that. We want what?
Quick fixes.
Quick fixes. Yeah, the witchcraft part to fix us. So being a doctor in this society, witchcraft. Being a lawyer is witchcraft. Being a psychologist is witchcraft. It seems like things you aspire to, but again, that's the tree of what? Knowledge of good and evil. Understand? All that stuff out there.
It's like medicine.
Right.
Their medicine comes from petroleum.
Yeah, come.
Our medicine comes from the earth.
The earth. Big difference, right? Understand? And it gives you that temporary healing and all that, but it's still through witchcraft. You don't really want to be healed through witchcraft. All right? But if you are healed through witchcraft, and let's say you didn't know it, and then you got healed, well, then afterwards you turn to the Most High and repent and all that. Understand what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. Not stay in it. Not just stay in it, right? So, and so this is what happened. This is where we're at. Now their eyes are open. So when it means that they had, that they were naked, what does it mean?
Shame.
Shame. Right, shame. You really think the Most High got a bunch of naked people running around? No, I don't understand people that can believe that. That's not the Most High. Right? He's not going to have a bunch of naked, his people running around naked out there. All right? So, and you may say, well, there are people out there that do that, Africans, you know. Yeah, but they're not the Most High's people, right? They follow their idol gods in doing that. Come? So that's not the Most High's people. Okay, so they knew that they were ashamed. Because when you sin, what's the first thing that comes upon you?
Shame.
Guilt. You're guilty because you knew the commandment.
The next verse is going to tell it.
It's going to tell it, right. You knew the commandment, and so that guilt comes upon you and that shame comes upon you. Okay? Okay, and then it says, and they sewed fig leaves together and made them, and so the fig leaves were what? Yeah, it was aprons, but what was it? They tried to hide themselves.
Trying to hide the shame.
Tried to hide the shame. Okay? They weren't naked, so they tried to hide the shame. Okay, Con?
Yeah. Would that be like by not confessing it and
Yeah.
acknowledging it?
And acknowledge
You know you're wrong, but you acting like you're not.
Right.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
The fig leaf. Right.
Yeah.
Other
Trying to cover it.
Justification.
Yeah,
Justifying.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
We all, I mean, I've done that. We all done that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're growing up and your parents catch you with something. You try to lie, get away, but they can see it. It's a spirit. They can see it.
They just want to see if you're going to lie to them.
Right.
Then you try to hide you behind with your hands on that belt string.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the next verse. Go ahead, Yakuna.
Verse 8. And they heard the voice of Yahweh thy power walking in the garden.
Here comes the parent now. This is the Most High, the parent, right? Here comes the Most High. The Most High, they sin, so the Most High got to say something, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, up.
In the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh thy power amongst the trees of the garden.
Now, so there you go. Yeah, they were ashamed. So where they go, they ran amongst, and he read it in Ezekiel 31, amongst the other nations.
Come.
Because why? The other nations are going to accept you because you sinned. So that's all they're about, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you have out here. See, Esau will accept you if you agree to his witchcraft.
You're part of the LGBT.
Right. LGBT, homosexuality, and you can go on and on. The idol worship, the religions, politics. He'll accept you, right?
Yeah. He can give you a job in office.
They give you a job in office.
As long as you
Right.
abide by my rules.
Exactly. Trying to hide yourself amongst the nations, but the Most High says, "No, you can't hide. I know who you are. You're my people. I know where you're at." Try to take a child away from its parents. I don't care if it's a month or two, even a year. That parent's gonna know when he looks for their children. That's my son right there. That's my daughter, because they know, right? A mother always knows his child, right? They always know who their child is. It's a spiritual thing, so you can't hide from the Most High. Okay. Go ahead, up.
And Yahweh the power called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself.
I knew I had sinned. That's what he was saying, right? I knew I had sinned. So we know that when we sin, we try to, get away from, the actual impact of the sin. We try to hide ourselves, and we don't want to deal with the shame and guilt, but, it's a done deal, right? Yeah. He tried to hide, and, he knew the Most High was coming, You know, when you sin, you try to hide from your parents, but eventually they come. Right? So go ahead, Up.
And he said, who told thee that thou was naked?
Wow. So what's the Most High saying here?
How you know you sin?
How do you know you sin? I didn't teach you sin. All the Most High taught Adam was righteousness. That's all he taught. Con? Go ahead, Up.
Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?
So immediately the Most High knew what? They ate of the tree immediately. They had to, because how did he know what sin was? So his eyes were open, right? And so the Most High immediately knew you ate of the tree. Right? Go ahead, Up.
And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me the tree, and I did eat.
He blamed his wife. So that's some old weak stuff, right? Adam got weak there. He was afraid. He knew he had messed up. So he's going to try to find, who can I blame on this? Right? Blamed his wife. But I got news for you. His wife wasn't to blame. Wasn't she?
Yeah.
That's why we did one in Timothy, where the woman was first.
Sin came into the world by a woman.
No, where the woman was first deceived.
Okay.
First, yeah, she going first sin.
Yeah, where's that, Timothy? First Timothy, right? Yeah. First Timothy. I'm just showing you that Adam wasn't really wrong, but he should have just held himself accountable and dealt with it, right?
He spoke on the facts, but he didn't speak on the truth that all authority was given unto him.
Right, exactly. Okay, there you go.
That'll be.
Which
I
one?
got it.
Tell me where you're at.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man.
Okay, see? So the woman can't usurp authority over the man. Eve usurped authority over Adam when she convinced him, right? She shouldn't even came to him with it. How about that? She shouldn't even came to him with it. It was wrong for her to even come to him because she knew what the law, what the Most High gave her, that was the law. Shouldn't even came to him with it. Okay, go ahead, Al.
But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man.
Can a woman teach? Yes, but she can't teach men. Okay? Now, individually, a man can take advice from his wife. There's nothing wrong with that, advice or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. She can teach the children, but she cannot teach a congregation of men and women. She can't do that. She's not allowed. So all these women pastors are what? Sinning.
Come.
And who gave them that ability? The serpent, which we know today, Esau, other nations, right? Christianity, right? Gave them that ability, right? Okay, go on.
But to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve.
The Most High is giving the order here, right? Go on.
And Adam was not deceived,
Adam?
but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
So was Adam wrong when he said that? He wasn't really wrong. But I think he still should have held himself accountable, right? Right. But he wasn't really wrong for the woman. The Most High put it on the woman. Right? All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, the scripture says. That's what it says. So sometimes when you hear things out here and the man gets blamed for this and that, think about what the woman did. Sometimes you don't hear both sides. And then later on down the line, what do you hear? That it was the woman that conjured up that whole scenario in the man's house or whatever, right? It was the woman. Okay, because why? Satan is subject unto the woman, right? The woman is subject unto Satan. Because why? What happened in the garden? She sold out to be subject unto Satan. So even though we marry them, you're marrying who? Somebody who is quickly subject unto Satan. That's why you can teach them all the truth you want, but that spirit in them is subject unto Satan. So what can happen? In the instant, all of a sudden,
Family's broken.
yeah, start throwing things at you. I hate you. But what about the truth? I haven't taught you all these years. I don't care about that. You know, whatever. Nigga.
And we messed up too, being the wife of Yahweh, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why where we at too, as a nation.
Right. How about that? So he turned it around on us. Right? So go ahead, up. And read 14 one more time.
And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety.
How about that? So a woman was really made to do what? Bring forth the children. Oh, you're going to oh, I'm a single woman. I got a career going, and I can't have any children, so get out my house, man. And I got my career going.
See, that was all set up by Satan too.
Right. It was a philosophy of the serpent. It was set up by Satan. Right? Because the Most High said your duty, woman, is to have, that's why I put you on this earth and gave you a womb. Your duty is to have children. That's it. And be a helpmeet and helpmate to your husband.
I was watching this video earlier this week just to lay me back off what the elder's saying. And the woman is taught that she is successful just by the degrees that she should get instead of having a successful family with the so-called black and Hispanic man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes, and that's your success right there in the childbearing and bringing up a family and raising a righteous family at home.
Right.
You know?
That's success.
That's success right there. Not by Esau's degrees, because then you can add them degrees, and then most of the women who get those degrees, you end up in debt.
Right. And you die alone.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And drunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we get the degree and drunk.
Yeah, that's what the dude said in the video. You old, you get older, you don't have no man, you want to have children, but it's too late, and then you're sitting around drinking, and then you're having flings with younger men that you think you're going to control.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah, go ahead, huh?
And they said, when we get the degrees and we go against Esau's philosophy,
right.
They want to come take our degrees.
They want to take it, right.
Yeah.
Was that the dude that he killed?
See what now?
Was that the guy that killed?
That got killed.
Yeah. What's his name? He was talking to all the women.
No. It was a different guy.
All right, go back.
I think it's on I think I posted it to my Facebook page. The video.
Go back to Genesis. So you got the understanding on that. Okay.
12.
3:12.
Yeah, that's where you stop.
Okay, Slack. And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me the tree, and I did eat.
Right, so he wasn't entirely wrong, but of course, he still committed the sin. He was supposed to what? Reject the offer of his wife to eat of the tree of knowledge and good. He's supposed to reject it, right?
Come.
Because if your wife comes with wickedness and you're a husband, no. Right, Con? Or vice versa. If the husband comes with wickedness, the woman should do what? Reject it. No! Even though she's supposed to be subject unto her husband, but if it's wickedness, don't accept it.
Good.
Reject it. The man has to come with righteousness, and the woman has to come with righteousness, right? Right? And if your children come with wickedness, no! I don't care how much they try to convince you. I don't care how much money it might be worth, right? That money you get everybody, right? That money you get everybody. But no! That's how it's supposed to be, right? Yeah, but they said all I gotta do is drink blood and lay in a coffin naked, and we'll be millionaires. No! Right? Right? But a lot of them take it. They got the show called American Idol Worship. That's what you can make it say American Idol Worship. It's called American Idol. But I'll be rich and famous and no, you're not gonna be no idol. No! But all the black parents, go on, you can sing, go on American Idol, go on, He's Got Talent, whatever that show is. Right?
I think one of them award shows, it's either the Emmy or the Grammys, they actually give you an idol that's an actual idol.
Right.
When you win.
Yeah.
The Oscars, right?
The Oscars, that's what
The Oscars is that? Yeah, it's idol. That's all it is. That's an idol.
Trinkets.
But all the award shows give you something. It's all idol worship. That's all it is. Same deal here. So go ahead, up.
Verse 13. And Yahweh the power said, Slakia, the woman whom thou gavest me to be with me, she gave it to me, and I did eat. And Yahweh thy power said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast
So
done?
now the Most High, because Adam was right, and now actuality, right? So the Most High got to go to the woman now. Because now the Most High got to go to both sides, right? Remember, in every situation, there can be no false witnesses. You got to hear both sides, right? Right, Con? Okay. But Adam wasn't necessarily clean, right? Because he still sinned. All right, go ahead, Al.
And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
So now she said, the Most High said, damn. So you telling me that a serpent got you to do this? Adam said to the woman saying the serpent. Now what's the serpent going to say? So now the Most High got to go to the serpent. The true judge, right? Got to go to all the sources, right? Who broke the commandment? Most High got to go to everybody. Okay, go ahead, up.
And the power of Yahweh said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle.
So it was true. In other words, the Most High inquired, and the serpent did do it. The Most High now laying down the what? The punishment. When you sin, there is a punishment. Now you may say, but okay, my sin was 10 years ago. So the Most High said he's long suffering, and he said punishment against the evil work is not executed speedily. So you could be punished for things you did 20 years ago. How old are you now? 25, maybe 30, maybe 35. Most High said, okay, I got time. I'm eternal. Most High got time. He can get you with anything that you did back then, right? If he wants to, right? Come? If the Most High wants to, he can do that. Yeah.
Now, this verse 14.
Okay, well, we're coming to that. We're coming. So the Most High is punishing the serpent now. He's laying out the judgment. So now he's cursed. The serpent is cursed. Right? So that means the serpent in the fleshly body is going to be cursed. Whoever is playing that part of the serpent today, Esau, right? He's playing that part. Okay? And back then, who played that part, whoever it was cursed. Right? And you've seen when Nebuchadnezzar ruled the Babylonian Empire, when he ruled, the Most High literally turned into a beast.
Yeah.
Turned into a beast, a literal beast. Out there on all fours, out there in the wilderness, all fours. And when he finally turned back to being a man, his servant said, man, you out there on all fours. You were a beast. Okay? And then he humbled himself and realized that was the Most High. And this was the Babylonian king. You know, the ancient Babylonians today, who are they today?
The Ethiopians.
Yeah. Children of Put, the original Ethiopians. Not the Most High's people, right? But the Most High still had him bow down. Right? He was like a archetype of an antichrist, Nebuchadnezzar, back during that time. Okay, Con? Because he built a statue of himself very high, and let everybody come down and bow down to it. And this modern day Antichrist is going to do the same thing. Okay? Whoever it is, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to come and have people bow down. And if you don't bow down, what's he going to do? It's like Nebuchadnezzar. Because this is Babylon the Great. That was ancient Babylon. This is Babylon the Great. They're going to do the same, right? Same type of thing. They already ordered, it was Obama, who our people thought were one of his people, right? He's the one that ordered the guillotines from the Chinese. 30,000 of them. What's he doing with 30,000 guillotines? Chop people's heads off. You don't bow down to the Antichrist, your head's going to roll. That's coming. It's going to be played out. Right? It's got to be played out. Scripture says the martyrs of Yahushua were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. It's going to be played out. So if it's you, if it's me, but Yahushua said, don't be tempted and strive unto death. Be faithful unto death. Wasn't Yahushua? Yahushua was the example. Come? This is what we're dealing with. Understand? So it's going to be on that level. Your trial and tribulation, it's going to be on that level. It's coming. Read about Antiochus Epiphanes, what he did. He desecrated the temple and had forced everybody to eat pork.
That's the Maccabees.
Yeah. He was an Edomite. Right? Greek, Edomite. Put everybody to eat pork, came in the temple and desecrated, put, swine's flesh, all that in the temple, everything.
Sure.
Idols and everything. And then said you could eat pork. And forced our people to eat pork. Well, some of our people didn't eat the pork.
Yeah, Eliezer didn't eat it.
Do you know what happened to them?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what the Mosai want to see. He said, be faithful even unto death. So if they come to you and say, eat this pork, Elijah. You see this guillotine here? See the difference? Now where's your faith? We haven't, as a people, been tried on that level yet. But we're the chosen. It's coming. Right? Read about the 7. During the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, read about the 7 that Mosai had put up there, had Antiochus put up there, and they destroyed, beat them to death.
They hit them with hot pokers and
Everything. Cut out their tongues, whipped them. In other words, didn't kill them right away, tortured them because they wouldn't eat the pork and all that stuff. Right. So this is where we're at, huh? Okay. So go ahead, up.
And the Lord said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Well, that's what we eat now, right? We're eating defiled food, dust. Okay? So that's why Job said, I wouldn't have him sit with the dogs of my flock. Because he's a serpent, he's a beast. Esau is a beast, man. Esau is not human. he's human, but he's not, he just has 2 arms, 2 legs. Understand? He has a body of a human being, but he's not mentally a human. He's insane. Esau's insane now. He's dealing with insanity here. He's crazy. Right? So that's why he's serpent-like. Even the beasts are more intelligent than Esau. Come on, a dog don't have, there's no homosexuality in the dog world, right? No, because
wrong with it.
Well, yeah, there's something wrong with it. It's because of the conditions that they are put in. The reason why they might do that. But naturally, they would not do that. Okay? By nature, they would not do that. Fish would not do that. Animals would not do that. Birds would not do that. Right? But if Esau put them in a condition, they put them in cages and stuff, and put them in a condition where, right? Look, the black man goes to jail, right? Most of the jails are filled with black men. What eventually happens? You put a man in prison, eventually you're going to have what? Homosexuality. Because you're locked up in a cage with another man for, 10, 20 years.
That's awful.
That's madness, Doc. He's crazy. Right? Instead of doing what the commandments say, if you commit a crime, a sin against the commandment, let's say if it's murder, what the Most High said, what's the penalty for murder? Death. How you gonna put a man in jail for 10 years for murder? And you got the next one next to him, he's in jail for murder. He's getting 7 years, or next one is 15 years. Now you got all these men in jail for murder. You got in jail when the penalty for death is what? You wouldn't have all these people in jail, right? And so on and so forth.
Because of the money situation.
Right. So I'm saying the conditions are created where some of these animals might do that. Esau creates those conditions. That's why Job said, well, you ain't gonna sit with the dogs in my flock, because you're gonna what? Defile the dog. Next thing you know, the dog is jumping on top of you. Jumping on top of the woman. Smelling the woman. What's the dog doing that for? Because you know what she did, right? So if there's a bestiality situation, what are you supposed to do the individual?
Put them to death.
Are these people being put to death?
No.
Nah.
And the animal too gotta be put.
And the animal, because the animal's defiled. Does that happen? No.
Nah.
They have long years they live, and the animal has a house. The animal has a pension. The animal has a trust fund, right? More than what you would get, right? So
Canada passed a law that you could marry.
yeah, you could, yeah.
Yeah, they did that about 5 years
Say
ago.
Canada.
Yeah.
Barack Obama passed a law that that you could lay with a goat and all that now if you want. It's a bestiality law.
What?
He passed that law when he was in office. He passed, yeah.
I know he passed some homosexual stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah,
bestiality,
he passed the
what?
bestiality law too.
Wow, but he was our president.
Yeah.
Yeah, him might go.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Look up the laws that Barack Obama passed or helped pass, and that was one of them. Okay.
So that means all Congress is guilty of that.
Yeah. Read 15 out.
Verse 15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
So what does that mean? The enmity, right? That's the hatred. So that's why when you read, what is it, Ezekiel 36, or is it 35? Right? It says the perpetual hatred.
That's 35 and 5.
35 and 5.
Yep.
So when you read about the perpetual hatred, it's there. Why is it perpetual? That's what you read. Go on, read it.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh thy power, I will prepare thee unto blood,
Right.
and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Right. So that's it. So that perpetual hatred. Right? So the Most High put it there. And it was going to be between the enmity, the hatred, between thee and the woman. The woman is who? The nation of Israel now.
Right.
Now it's going, I know, everybody reads say, okay, that's Eve. Well, Eve was the mother of who? Israel, right? She's the mother. So the hatred is going to be between Satan and the nation of Israel. That's why today you still have what? They shoot you down in the streets. They can still call you a nigger. They still lynching people. Right? They put AIDS in the community. How did coronavirus all of a sudden become a black man's disease? Now it's in the black community like crazy. How did that happen? Right? So because of the hatred is still there. Flint, Michigan thing, the poison the water, the food, right? And killing you. And that's in every city. You know that's in every city. Food is all poison. Right? You can't trust Esau. But the hatred is still there. And he represents the serpent today, the modern day serpent, right?
Come.
It's still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. Ever since the time of Adam and Eve, it hasn't gone anywhere. Yes.
That's why, I pray over everything. Man.
You pray over everything.
Deodorant, mouthwash,
Everything. Yeah, because we really shouldn't be living now. It's just the mercy of the Most High.
Come.
Most High's mercy on. He said you're gonna eat
Dung.
dung amongst the nations, defiled bread amongst the nations. Everything you eat is defiled. Everything, even the organic stuff, that's defiled too. Because Esau knows everybody want to go organic. He knows that, so he's gonna defile it.
Even when you take a shower in the bath, the
Yeah,
water's
the
fine.
water's defiled. The stuff that we dealing with now, David and them would look at that and say, "What the hell?" He would chop your head off. You bring something mixed with aspartame in it, or red dye number 40. What the hell is that? They'll chop your head right off it. And that's why, back then, of course, in ancient time, we lived a long period of time. Now, you barely make it to 70, right? So that's what that means. So the enmity between thee and the woman, enmity between Satan and the woman. Come. And of course, in the regeneration, it came back. The enmity came back between who? Esau and Jacob. And didn't Esau said, "I hate my brother.
Yeah.
I hate him. Matter of fact, when I come back, I'm gonna kill him."
Come.
And here you have it today. They still killing. Esau still killing. The hatred didn't go nowhere.
He's giving that hatred to his children.
Right.
Inheritance.
Right. It's perpetual. It doesn't stop because, you had the slave masters, they all gone now. No, they give it to their children. Because it's not going to stop until what? Until Esau is brought down to Yahweh Shai come, destroy the works of the devil, put us back on that. Then it'll stop. Okay? And we got to return back to the Most High in righteousness. Then it's going to stop. Okay? And then he read, between thy seed and her seed, see, the her is Israel. Why do we know the her is Israel? Because in Revelation 12, I think it's 3, 12 and 1, it says, John said, I see a woman clothed with the sun. Okay? And the moon under her feet. Woman, he said. That's Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So this woman here is talking about Eve, but now bring it to a higher level. It's talking about Israel altogether, because we're the woman of the Most High. We're the wife of the Most High. Right? Okay, go ahead. And then, it shall bruise thy head. Wow. And when he says bruise thy head, what do you think about? Esau and Jacob in the womb of Rebekah. Okay? What was Jacob trying to do in the womb of Rebekah?
Trying to spank Esau.
Yeah. Grabbing the heel. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Grabbing the heel.
Which is prophetic.
Right. Prophetic.
Come.
Okay. Bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. How about that? Understand? Jacob, try and pull that heel, pull him down, because of course we are the ones that are supposed to naturally rule the earth. But Esau was that firstborn. But the firstborn, Scripture says, meant to be a slave, a servant. And Esau reads that and knows that's talking about him. Now you see why what happened to us in slavery. It's like they're getting you back out of jealousy. And then, of course, when Jacob supplanted Esau, the birthright. Esau knows his history. He knows that's talking about us.
I got scripture.
Yeah. Go ahead, up.
2nd Ezra 6:8.
Tell him where you're at.
I'm in 2nd Ezra 6:8. I'll start at 7. This is after Ezra petitions the Most High to give him an understanding on Jacob's birth.
Right.
And the twins. He says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of that which followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was born, of him Jacob hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that which follows.
How about that? Esau is the end. So this is why Esau knows his end is coming. And as you can see, Jacob, the so-called Negro, clawing at his heel. You know what I'm saying? Clawing at his heel. And Esau knows this. So he's doing everything he can to keep us down. Everything he can to keep us down. But he's the end of the world, meaning the current society that's ruling the earth. He's the end of it.
And another thing is that's why he never passed anything for us in Congress.
Right.
Because they know they don't want us to ever be comfortable. They always keep
Right.
us in the
They don't want us to evolve or
Yeah.
get better in society.
That's why I don't vote.
Right.
Because I know
What are you going to vote for?
Yeah. That's going to be done.
So he knows that. And he's close to his end now. Right? It's just a matter of time. So that's why, in their minds, since they know that they're coming down, and how does Satan think? Well, let me kill as many. They can't get to Yahweh Shai no more. So let me kill as many of them, Yahweh Shai's people, as I can. That's their mentality. And we're like sheep led to the slaughter. We are the Lord's sheep. we walk right into the slaughterhouse. We walk right into it. They open the door and we walk right in. Understand? And, you know, and so if we walk right into it, the Most High say, okay, well, yeah, you deserve to be put to death. See? That's why you got to say, no! You got to cut it off. Okay? Okay, so that was it on that. And, okay, and read 16, Genesis 3:16.
The book of Genesis chapter 3 verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception in sorrow. Thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
See? So that's the judgment that the Most High gave unto the woman. In conception, a woman shouldn't really have that much pain, right? And some women can tell you they don't have that much pain when they are bringing forth. Some women don't. Some women do. But you're not supposed to have that much, especially here in this society. They don't do it right anyway. A woman's supposed to be sitting up on a stool when she's bringing a baby down. It makes it easier. You wouldn't even have no pain problem. But you go to the doctor, what do? Put you on your back. And then put you on your back and put your legs in those things. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a big Edomite serpent sitting right there looking at you. Your wife looking at everything.
Actually, a woman laying on her back and giving birth like that, that came from one of these king's fetishes. We went over it on a conference call one time.
Yeah.
And like he used to sit there and
just look at everything, right?
Yeah.
Roman king, right?
Say what?
It's Roman, right?
Yeah, he was sitting there ejaculating to the woman while she was doing that.
Yeah. And here, you know, these women do it now freely. You just give it up freely, right? Because you trust this serpent so much, right? But when you brothers, your wife is having a baby, have a midwife. You know, some of these, and if you go to some of these hospitals, they could you say you need a midwife, they can, you know, at least give you a female doctor.
Do they exist anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got
It's women
midwives.
that's doulas in Israel.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a couple.
Yeah. They got.
I'm just locally here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Yeah.
locally here.
Yeah. They got them. You got to ask for them though. You know. And it says, in sorrow that shall bring forth and children, and thy desire shall be unto a husband, because the Most High made you to be a helpmeet to your husband, not over him, not with the lesbianistic vibration of the women's rights movement and all that vibration, right? Not with all that madness,
Religious movement.
right? So that's why when you read 1 Corinthians 11, Yahushua gives you the order: the man, Yahushua, the man, the woman, and then you say the children.
Come.
All right, that's the order. Okay, but a man is not supposed to disrespect his wife and be like a roaring lion in his household. Understand?
Come.
It's you're supposed to be a couple, and you're supposed to in that marriage, the woman should be more like a helpmeet, meaning give advice and all that stuff. And I found out even with my wife, if she gave some sound advice, I would go with it. Because why? It's righteous advice, right? Right? But she's not supposed to take that and then think now she's superior. No. No. Now you're out of order. Now you just ruined the whole thing. You're out of order.
And part of Eve's sorrow, it says that in sorrow she shall bring forth children.
Yeah.
From one captivity to another captivity. They have Eve has been burying as her children because of the environment that we've been producing.
Right.
Nations have been killing us.
Right. That's sorrow. Correct. Right? How about that, Doc? So this is what the Most High is saying. Okay, and now read about 17, Adam's punishment.
Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of. Cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life.
Right. Isn't that something? Because you hearken unto your wife. See, so Adam wasn't wrong when he said, well, Eve, she convinced me. He wasn't wrong. But what was he supposed to do? Was to reject what she was saying. Understand? He did, and he didn't. He fell right into it. So he really conspired with it. He was a partaker, right? And don't the partakers of any crime, they get punished too, right?
Conspiracy.
The conspiracy is the Most High's law against his, right? So the Most High gave the punishment for all three, right? Right? And has eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. So in sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of life. So aren't we in sorrow? Because of what? The tree of knowledge of good and evil. The philosophies, religions, idols, we're in sorrow of it. So-called politics, we're in sorrow of all that madness. And here we are. The Jim Crow laws, all that stuff. You know, it's all part of it. Constitution, all that stuff. 3/5 of a man, we're in sorrow, right? Yeah.
We had time.
Okay. Oh, yeah. By the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I didn't get to the scriptures I said I was going to get to. But I'll tell you what, we can read one. Let's read one, and then the one in Mark, Matthew 4 and 1.
The book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 1.
Right.
Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of Hashatan. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungry.
Now, notice how Yahushua now, right? This Yahushua going to be tempted of the devil, right? But notice how he said he fasted 40 days. Now here comes what? The devil. What does the serpent, Satan, what does the tempter do when it wants to get you to fail or break a commandment or be tempted into something?
Come at you when you're weak or
It
vulnerable.
comes at you when you're vulnerable. Right? The more vulnerable you are, the more Satan is sitting right there, right there waiting for you. Right? That's why I said, be angry, but don't sin.
Okay.
Because when you're angry, what happens? You're more vulnerable. Understand? Your emotions are all over the place. So in other words, you're angry, but stay calm and see everything through. Because you won't make no mistake, because Satan's going to tempt you. In that moment, right there, boom, he's going to tempt you. Next thing you know, you done made a mistake. Now you're walking around maimed, got one leg, or maybe you shot up, or maybe you didn't kill your wife, or maybe one of your children. You didn't mean to do it. It was just, you know what I'm saying? You're in that moment where Satan, right, put that thought in your mind, and then there it goes. It's a done deal. Once you did it, you can't take it back now, right? So that's why he said, be angry, but sin not. Don't let your wrath go down or your anger go down. When the sun go down right, upon your anger, right? Always deal with it before the sun, because sometimes you're sitting there and you get angry and angry, especially overnight, angry and angrier, right? And Satan's right there laying in the bed with you. You just don't see him.
Man, trying to get you to fall off the handle.
Exactly.
Laughing.
Exactly. Right? So Yahushua, 40 days and 40 nights, he fasted. No one has ever done that. I haven't heard nobody. I think there was one pastor that tried. I think an African tried.
He died.
He
tried and he died.
How far did he get? Maybe 20-something days?
Somebody died.
Nobody can make it to 40 days.
They got all kinds of people on YouTube.
They got one pastor that tried to walk on water. I mean, literally. They could drown in the ocean. Yeah, stop it. Stop trying to do what Yahushua did. You can't do it.
I see one of them got ate by a lion.
Yeah, oh yeah. Figure Yahushua is going to save him. The spirit, you get the Lord is with him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, lion ate his ass up.
Now, when you say fast 40 days, that means no food and
No food.
No
Nothing, huh?
Did he eat at night, maybe?
No!
No.
No, he didn't eat nothing, huh?
No, the reason why I say that because, you know, certain nutritional guys like Dr. Shaver say they did it for 94 days with just water.
Yeah,
Water.
Just water and tea.
yeah, but see, but he had, what tea? He had tea.
Yeah.
Tea has herbs in it.
That's
So he was able
the water could have had something.
Yeah, exactly. He could have had mineral water, whatever.
Yeah.
But it has herbs in it. So he had, Yahushua had nothing on it.
Okay.
Okay? So that's why you can't say, well, he might have had this. No, he didn't say that. So you can't add to it. So all I know is he didn't have nothing.
Okay.
So for all these people who are trying to reach 40 days and don't make it, they die. That's because you're trying to reach what Yahushua is. Stop trying to do that. You're not Yahushua. All right.
I stopped at 25, man. I couldn't.
Okay.
More.
And you didn't have food or water?
Oh, I had water.
You had water. Okay.
Yeah, just water.
Okay.
You
Yeah, you had water.
25 days, no food?
Yeah, that's possible, huh? You know.
I tried to make it to 30, man.
No, but why? I never even fasted 3 days. Of course, a day or two, yeah, but I never did, because why am I going to try to do that? What am I trying to prove? Right? But I know some people individually do it for, to reset their system and all that stuff. And I understand that. But you can reset your system in about 7 days. In 7 days you can do it. You don't need 25, 30 days to do that. As far as health, your health reasons, you can reset your whole system in 7 days. We know 7 is a number that represents completion.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need 25, 30 days, 40 days. We're not trying to get, you know what I'm saying?
I did it for health reasons.
I understand, yeah, I understand that. But you still had water, understand and stuff? Yahushua had nothing, right? Here comes Satan now. And Yahushua was hungry. I'm pretty sure he's probably hungry the 35th day, 36th day, right? But of course, it was 40 days. And now here comes Satan to do what? Tempt him. So in your vulnerable state, beware. That's all I'm saying.
It wasn't Lent when he did that?
You're right. Beware. That's all I'm saying. Beware. All right? And always seek the Most High. Pray, especially when you're at an emotional situation happen. Pray. Because that'll give you the time to reset your thinking. Right? Where your emotions won't take you away. Right? And when you think straight and calmly, then you could resolve a situation better that way. It's better resolved, right? So go ahead, Art.
And when the tempter came to him, he said, "If thou be the son of Yahweh, command that these stones be made bread."
Now it said that when the tempter came to him, the tempter is the same tempter that came to who? We just read to Eve. Same one. Didn't change. Same one up. Con? That's the serpent. Okay? Because why? Yahushua is the leader, the head, the savior, the redeemer of the woman. So the most I said there's going to be enmity, and of course the tempter is going to be Yahushua. Number one, he's going to try to get. Right? And he's trying to get him. And he's at his most vulnerable state. So he said what? Now read that again.
And when the tempter came to him, he said, "If thou be the son of Yahweh, command that these stones be made bread." But he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh."
Right. So he stayed with what? He stayed with the Spirit of the Most High, the commandment. He stayed with the word of the Most High. So he was able to think it through and says, no. No, Satan, get behind me. See? Every word of the Most High, that's the bread of life right there. Even though I'm hungry as hell, but no. Right? Even though you're tempted and your flesh is weak and you lust, but no. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, in the very way that Esau lost his inheritance is the very method he uses on.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Same way he lost his inheritance.
Because he lost it.
He lost it, right? Exactly. That's a good point. Go ahead. There's two other attempts to tempt Yahushua.
Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, "If thou be the son of Yahweh, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou shalt dash thy foot against a stone."
In other words, that means unless you sin. See, when you sin, what do? You're giving way to Satan, right? That's why the Most High teaches you don't multiply your sins. Because now you're giving way to the devil to come in and to now, like, run your life, right? You don't want that. That's why you want to have less sins. You should be more keeping the commandments and all the statutes up here, and maybe your sins down here. Come? Less sins, more righteousness up here, right? Because if your sins outweigh your righteous deeds, then you got a problem. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard, man. It's hard, right? Yeah.
Verse 6 is same thing being said in Psalm 91.
What he just read?
Yes.
Yeah. Come. Okay. Go ahead, up.
Yahweh Shai said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt Yahweh thy power. Again, Hashatan taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down to worship me. Then then saith Yahweh Shai unto him, get hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship Yahweh thy power, and him only that thou shalt serve.
And how does Satan do that today? He show because he's in power, right? It's showing you that Satan got all the power in this society now, right? That's what it's showing you. And he said all the kingdoms. So Satan is really running all the kingdoms. Okay? And he said, show him all the kingdoms. He said, all you got to do is bow down before me. Then I'll give it to you. So when they get a simple Negro out here to be in a Hollywood movie,
They took the bag.
you know what I'm saying? Or to be a top rapper, or to be a top athlete, or whatever, it's the same deal, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty much the same. Especially if they're giving you a $50 million, $100 million contract, it's the same type of deal.
That's why Bernie Mac's not around no more.
Okay, and it's the same type of deal. And what did Howard Shai say? No! Because if somebody's giving you a $50 million contract, okay, $100 million contract, and you get a signing bonus of $10 million, right? But Yahweh Shai was given a similar deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said no, right? I found that out. It's the same thing today.
And we're going to take the kingdom anyway.
Right. And the kingdom is ours. The earth was made. What is that compared to the earth? What is a $100 million contract compared to the earth? Nothing. So that's why even Yahweh Shai said, even in his vulnerable state, no. Satan, get behind me. Okay, go ahead, Doc. Was that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So that's it, Doc. I just want to show you that. I said other scriptures, but we'll go over it next week. So all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem and Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.